So thanks, Arata, for joining us. Of course, you're the head coach of the Reliance Foundation Young Champs, and it's been a busy week for you. But I just want to allude to the first victory of the season. How did that feel? I think it was about 5 days ago. How did that feel? What was it? Relief? Was it exultation? Give us a feeling of Arata Izumi, the coach, the feelings you went through with that first win.
Well, not for me, but for players, definitely. Always winning is the biggest motivation. And, this tournament has been really, really competitive from the first game, second game, and the third game. So, of course, players are feeling this close to win the 3 points. And finally, it came through on their way. And, it was, of course, quite exciting moment for them.
You spoke about how it's been a busy, packed schedule and obviously a lot of game time. But going into the tournament, what was the preparation like? How do you prepare, a team like this before going into a league like this?
Probably the way of preparation for us could be slightly different with other clubs. I don't know, but for us, it's more like especially the season started and because of the COVID situation, we could not have a group training for quite some time. Of course, boys were doing their training session with us, online session and everything, but the formal session was not happening. So for us, it was really important for us to be really, really mindful about their training load and focusing on the back to training protocol. That was the initial part of our preparation for not only particularly for this tournament, but just in general as a season.
How it's slightly different for you as a coach, probably a different goal as well with a lot of other younger players. How has it been generally different from other teams?
I don't know about the other teams, but our approach is always about the individual development, and that is why we have learning line. That is why we have a specific principle of play that we want to definitely coach to the boys to understand, for them to develop their footballing understanding. And that was always an approach. But of course, once we came to know about this development league, it's happening this particular time of the season. We started to think about how we as a team we are going to play and what type of style and in line with this principle that we coached already.
And of course, you're a football man and you like talking about specifics of the sport, and you mentioned things like your style of play. I know it's not part of. I'm just going to add this in there and ask you this off the bat. Is that what is the style of play that is promoted? I know that the modern game requires a certain technique and quick passing. There's lots of thoughts about how the game should be played. But for this particular age group that you handle, what are the basics? What is the style that you are leaving them with that will stay with them through their career? What are the lessons tactically that you give them?
This comes not style of play actually. It's more like a principle of the game. The individual players if they can understand the principle of game or the play. So for moment of the game, attack, defense, transition to attack, transition to defense. Nowadays the 5 moment, which is a set piece, but let's avoid that. It's going to be too long. So as long as they understand the principle of the play in each moment of the game, I believe any type of football that you are going to play, because different coaches have different philosophy, different type of the game. Boys or the player will be able to adjust to order to understand what exactly the coach is demanding from you. So that is much more important than understanding the style of play as a team, but the individual players.
So tell me, for this kind of a game and the Reliance Foundation Development League, is this the biggest exposure that your boys have got so far?
Definitely, yes, especially after the COVID started. This is exactly what young players, not only for us, obviously, but the young footballers were waiting for, to get a fair chance, fair opportunity for them to showcase their talent. And I think this developmental league is giving us the best way possible, the boys, not us, but the players, best opportunity, all these ISL clubs, the top club of the country, the scouts are there, the coaches are there to look into each individual with their qualities. So.
And do you think that it is also the kind of platform from where emerging talents can be found in Indian football?
Definitely, yes. And I think this league will give a lot of hope for young players or the next generation. These days, a lot of young players are watching football thanks to ISL, of course.
Right.
The awareness of football is huge in India, and of course, recently Mumbai City, congratulations, making cutting the ACL, having the 7 points. I think that's a gigantic history-making moment for India football. So a lot of attention is coming to the football, and now they can clearly see this developmental league as their target, and not only for the players but for the parents also. They can see, okay, there's a clear pathway actually to become professional football player. Maybe not clear pathway always. Becoming footballer is extremely difficult challenge, but at least your son can get the fair opportunity and a fair chance to prove themselves or showcase their talent, to give their best. So, it's really, really positive that we are having this league.
Right. Sometimes we use the term graduate into competitive football. We say that, but we kind of forget that even in real life, by the time you graduate, you're actually not a finished product. You still need more experience with work and probably more degrees to become that kind of talent, or to realize your potential. But is this, part of what you are doing is also in a way to help them step up into competitive football? You're not giving a finished product in terms of a player, but a player who has incredible potential. And is that part of your responsibility as well?
Definitely, yes. Especially having the playing time especially playing time in a sense, not only the playing time, but the competitive playing time is the best way for anybody to develop themselves. And the age of 18 to say 21, at exactly this developmental league, what they were doing. So after graduating from any academy, 18 years old, and until you become actually complete professional football player, at least 2 to 3 years, with a lot of number of games, competitive games, you have to play. And that is the opportunity this league is giving the players. And that is the only way for us to keep producing a good player for the future of Indian football.
And how do you assess how far a player has come? How do you measure this development cycle that, he's 3 times as good as he was 4 years ago? But in a sense, how do you do it? How do you come to your assessment? How do you come to a consensus that, okay, this player has done this and he's come this far? How do you measure that?
Well, see, when they come to our academy 12 years old, today they are 17, 18 years old. Of course, from there to here, they came such a long, long way. And of course, how we assess the boys is every year there's an evaluation, there's a system. Each year we have 2 evaluations to try to understand each individual players, what they have to do for the next step, what they are doing well, and so on and so on. There's a lot of process to it. But more than anything, we promote a lot of, most important part is 100%. They're giving the 100% effort every single moment when they are on the pitch, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. If the dedication is there, anyone coming to us will be able to develop themselves up, at least up to their maximum level. That is our aim. And plus, of course, we need a cooperation from the boys. If they are willing to do that,
Correct.
then we can make it happen. But if they are not, luckily, or thanks to our scouting team, I'm sure all the boys are ready to sacrifice somewhere their freedom to make sure that they are doing everything for themselves on and off the pitch. And not only football, but we put a lot of importance for the education. So we are trying to produce the players, not only the good football player, but as a human being who can have ownership for their life and career.
These are the players who get noticed. Somebody like a Neville gets noticed. And in a sense, how important is it to have that inspiration, to see a player go on and play top level football in the country for the players who are under you? I'm sure it's very inspiring for them.
It's a quite interesting question, and definitely yes, it's inspiring, and I think that is where we are really trying to make that culture that this academy players. So for us, it's at this moment 12 years old comes into the academy, and eventually they are seeing the senior most players. So at this moment, our U18 looking at them, wow, this is my role model. I want to be like this. I want to be even better than this guy. Then the idea sharing happens, and the best part of us is we are living together. So the 12 years olds asking 18 years old, what is it like, how they can develop themselves, like how you are spending your daytime on the pitch or off the pitch. So definitely the positive inspiration is happening thanks to those graduated players who signed for the ISL clubs. Some of them are already playing the top level, some of them are still in the reserve team leagues, but this is also a part of the step, the realistic step that our boys have to see and learn from these graduated players. So in either way or the every way, I'm sure it's really
Inspirational.
Inspirational, yeah. Nice English.
Fantastic.
Inspirational, yeah, all of them.
You've also attended a Premier League workshop and you've developed over the years. And how do you see yourself now? You know, I want to remind you that we spoke exactly 10 years ago when I was a young journalist and you had just been picked for the Indian team. And I just went back and I read that piece and I was like, wow, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. And now I look at you as a coach, and obviously you must have assessed yourself as a coach. And what is your assessment of yourself in a way? What have you learned? The takeaways, everything. Tell us more.
Well, maybe talking about myself is not the best coach of mine, but yeah, it's a big appreciation goes to the Reliance Foundation Young Champs, to be honest. I mean, after playing career, it was really smooth that, you know, this academy gave me a great opportunity to train with the talented players and with all facility possible that you can imagine to do your training session. And of course, I was a player and I needed a fair time for myself to make a transition from player to the coach. Initial year of, with the Young Champs, I think I was still, you know, player. I mean, today also I'm a still player, but you know, it's so difficult. You know, sometimes being a coach as a player, how you think things and how you try to see things. But this academy gave me fair year, good time, enough time for me to become or develop myself as a coach. Right. And yeah, today I'm with this U18 most talented group. I mean, and the boys who are really work hard, the elite, so-called elite players, and I'm there as a coach is, you know, something gives me immense pleasure, and I'm enjoying every bit of my time with this as a coach here. About the Premier League webinar, yes, it's really fruitful. Whenever I participate the webinar, it's so insightful and it's so detailed, and the speakers are really well prepared and you know, talk nicely. You know, for me, I'm an Indian, but I was a Japanese. My English is not that great. Still, I can understand really well. So thanks to that as well. But more than anything, what I feel from this webinar is whenever I participate this webinar, I get confidence that what we are trying to do with the Reliance Foundation Young Champs is so in line with them. And of course, Premier League is the best. Everyone knows that the best league in the world. And if we are something that we are doing is similar, or you know, sometimes I'm not being overconfident, but sometimes we do slightly more. You know, I don't know if you can use this part or not, but that is the exact feeling I get whenever I participate in these webinars. I get confidence that okay, we are doing the right thing, definitely the right thing for the boys. Answer was
it was good. Of course. Of course, absolutely. I think your English is spot on as well. No problem.